Hello everyone! Even if you've only performed car stunts in a video game like Need for Speed, you probably have some idea of how difficult it actually is. Of course, drifting and overcoming obstacles may seem easy in movies, but in real life, many people are not able to cope with basic traffic rules.
Go!
Not to mention tricks. However, as with anything, there are some real experts among drivers. We're going to talk about them today. Let's get it on. Parking a truck. You don't have to be an experienced driver to know that the bigger the car, the harder it is to park it. Of course, there are all sorts of devices that can help, like rear-view cameras, but there are also professionals who can pull incredible stunts on huge cars without any gadgets. For example, check out this Iveco truck driver performing during a competition for the title of Best Driver. Just look at him squeezing between the obstacles and parking with surgical precision. By the way, such competitions are pretty common throughout the world. One of the most famous is the Dakar Rally, and it's held annually in various countries from Europe to South America. Drivers of various vehicles like cars, motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, and trucks take part in this competition. The most interesting thing is that most participants are amateurs, not professionals. Climbing stairs. To be honest, at first glance, this guy seems to have defeated the laws of gravity. Just look at this dizzying trick. Meet Ho Pin Tung, a Chinese driver who won the world-famous 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2017 in the LMP2 category. Winning this incredible competition is a huge deal, but he decided not to stop there and took part in another, no less crazy challenge. For starters, Ho Pin Tung ran along a road with 99 hairpin turns. Then, behind the wheel of a hybrid version of the Range Rover Sport SUV, he drove to the foot of the legendary Heaven's Gate Arch, located on the Tianmen Mountain in China. The way to the top of the mountain is formed by 999 stairs. Its slope is as much as 45 degrees, although it reaches 90 degrees in some places. Before the experiment, no one, not even the creators of the challenge from Land Rover, were fully confident that the rider would not crash and die at the last moment. After all, nobody had done anything like that before him. But the incredible thing happened. Ho Pin Tung climbed the steep mountain in one go and did the unthinkable. It took him 22 minutes and 41 seconds to complete the entire journey, including the switchback road and the steps. By the way, the capacity of the car participating in the challenge is equal to 404 horsepower. You are probably already wondering why this challenge has so many 9s. The fact is that it's considered a lucky number in many Asian cultures. In 1999, on the same mountain, there was a special performance, during which planes flew through a hole at the top of the mountain. Leg drift. This video was made possible not only by the bravery of the driver, but also by his struggle and faith in himself. Almost 15 years ago, Bartosz Ostalowski from Poland was involved in a terrible car accident. Fortunately, his life was saved thanks to the quick arrival of an ambulance, but he had to give something up after the accident. In order to keep the 20-year-old alive, the doctors had to amputate both of his arms. A lot of people in Bartosz's place would have been desperate and would never have been able to live a normal life again. But this guy literally started living again, learning how to do things with his feet instead of his hands. Moreover, he didn't even give up on his lifelong dream of becoming a professional driver and competing for the national team. To do this, Bartosz learned to drive with his legs, and today is one of the greatest drifters in the world. But how exactly does he drive his customized Nissan Skyline GT TR34? With his left foot, he spins the steering wheel, his right foot pushes the pedals, and the gears are shifted by a special prosthesis attached to the driver's shoulder. Well, this is probably one of the coolest motivational stories ever. Side wheelie. If you want a little bit more speed even after the last videos, we'll fix that. This video is as invigorating as your morning espresso. Finnish stuntman Vesa Kivimaki is behind the Guinness Book speed record on a BMW, in an unusual way, on 2 side wheels. What's more, at over 186 km per hour. The spectacular race was held on the runway at Seinäjoki Airport, and the event was sponsored by Nokian Tyres Company, which used it to promote its extra-strong tyres with aramid fiber. The previous record was set by Goran Eliasson from Sweden. Kivimaki beat it by exactly 5 km per hour. By the way, there is a similar record, only for the longest distance covered by a car on 2 wheels. You won't believe it, but it's over 370 kilometers. Tractor drift. Who says that only tuned Nissans, Mazdas and Toyotas can drift and do burnouts? It turned out that even a tractor can ride sideways if you really try. The Swedish tyre brand Vianor proved it. They took a 1956 Volvo BM Terrier, upgraded it to 225 horsepower and released it out onto the fields. And it was quite successful. The tractor made such steep turns that even some racers would be jealous. Barrel roll in a car. You know what a barrel roll is? It's a maneuver in which a vehicle makes a 360-degree turn on its longitudinal, maintaining its original direction. Usually this trick is performed by pilots in aircraft, but recently it's become a little more down-to-earth. All thanks to Terry Grant, a multiple Guinness Book record holder from the United Kingdom. In 2017, he performed an extraordinary trick. He flew 15 meters on a Jaguar E-Pace crossover, making a 270-degree and the longest ever barrel roll with a car. During the jump, the pilot experienced an overload of 5.5 Gs. For reference, real astronauts experience much less overload when descending on the spaceship Soyuz. By the way, 2 years earlier, Terry Grant performed another crazy trick. He drove the largest dead loop in the world, almost 20 meters high. Parallel parking. The art of parallel parking is not always easy, even for experienced drivers, but it also has its record holders. One of the coolest professionals is Chinese stunt driver Han Yu, who does a great job parallel parking Mini Coopers. In 2012, he zipped his car into a parking space that was only 15 centimeters longer than the vehicle, and 2 years later, he broke his own record. This time, that gap was only 8 centimeters. Narrow tunnel. This video could be called Trying to Fit Into Your Favorite Jeans After Christmas Holidays or something like that. It shows a tour bus squeezing through a tunnel on a highway in South Dakota. The width of the tunnel is about 244 centimeters, while the width of the bus is a few centimeters less. Fortunately, the driver's skill helped him to get out of the gorge in one piece. Eight-hour drift. Ordinary taxi drivers are not advised to work for more than 8 hours in a row, as this can lead to loss of concentration and dangerous situations on the road. Even considering that in a big city, a driver is more likely to be stuck in traffic for half a day rather than actually driving. But 8 hours can also be a record when it comes to unusual types of driving, as in this case. Danish driving instructor Johan Schwartz drifted in circles for 8 hours in a row in a BMW M5, setting a world record. In total, the driver drove 374 kilometers without a single stop. Previously, the main difficulty in performing this trick was refueling the car, but this was solved using an innovation from BMW. The fact is that Schwartz's car was refueled on the move using another drifting car with an additional tank in the trunk. A stuntman connected a hose to Schwartz's car and started pumping fuel. Clever, isn't it?
It's getting hot there, I think. Pump up around. Go, baby, go.
Driving in reverse. Driving in reverse is not the most enjoyable situation for any driver, but it turns out that for some motorists, driving this way is a real pleasure. For example, this man from India has been driving in reverse for 12 years in a row. In all this time, he's traveled as much as 65,000 kilometers. The most interesting thing is that for Harpreet, it wasn't some quirk. One day, his car broke down in the middle of the road and he needed to get home anyway. So the driver put a bold face on and drove all the way back looking through the rear window, and has not stopped since. Moreover, he'd already upgraded his car for this type of driving, and even opened a specialized school in his hometown to train other drivers. Huge speed bump. This video is obviously an ad, but its creators should be praised for their creativity and sense of humor. The British company Jaguar Land Rover decided to test the patience of passenger car owners, building a 1.5 meter tall speed bump in London. Of course, most likely, people in the video are paid actors, but when watching the video, it's difficult not to sympathize with them. The experiment looks especially cruel when a luxury crossover Range Rover Evoque suddenly appears on the road and easily overcomes the obstacle. While passers-by and drivers stop silently with their jaws on the floor. Well, thankfully, these speed bumps are not real.